Good morning, everybody, and this is your S&P 500 day trade setups for today. So the difference between the S&P and the Dow Jones is actually quite interesting, and the reason for that is that the S&P 500 is driven by the Nasdaq, and tech stocks sort of making a little bit of a recovery on the Nasdaq at the moment after being hammered for quite a bit. So that is one of the reasons why we had a fairly strong day on Friday on this instrument, whereas on the Dow we're kind of like just hovering around waiting for the Feds to finish their meeting. So, and that'll happen on Wednesday. So anyway, all these tails, look at these tails for pretty much the whole of last week. You'll see tails. Nothing really indicating that we need to be buying into this. I just want to get this ready. Okay, so that is the previous high right over there, and 42.45, 42.46, that is a previous high. We have gapped up above it. It's a weekly gap, and we all know what happens with these weekly gaps on this instrument. So we expect price to come back down and expect a opportunity to buy into this further down. I don't like what I see with the oscillators at the moment. I really don't. But the trend is up. So what we want to do is be on the lower time frames and looking to buy into this. Looking at the hour, no reason to buy into that area there. We want to wait for a pullback. First pullback is right here at 42.45, and then the second pullback, which would be deeper, would be between 42.40, and we're going to have to go all the way down to the bottom to these tails here. And you can see that was tested on Friday, so we came down to this level here, which is 42.34. So any of these levels will offer some support. Bear in mind that we're going to be all over the place until Wednesday, when the Feds have actually released the meeting notes from their meeting. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. So same as the DAX here, your opportunity is going to be on the lower time frames. And it's basically to the downside and to the upside. But I'm just going to come down to the 5 minutes. It's going to be a little bit easier. Couple of things I want to point out, and pointed this out on the DAX as well. But when you see 5 minute gaps like that, you can see there's a gap right there, clear as daylight. There's another little one there, another one in the next bar. One right here, you can see the bar closed there, then it gapped up for an engulfing. Big one there. So when you see that kind of price action, it always indicates that the move up is not controlled and it's messy, more than likely driven by algorithms as well as they try to push it up. But typically what happens is price comes back to that area. So I wouldn't say short this market at the upside here, but you can definitely be looking for this to pull back, at least close the weekly gap, possibly this gap as well. Wouldn't be too surprised. I don't think that gap's going to stay open. That's way too big, and that's a futures gap. The market would have closed in this area here, and then it's open for a little while after the market closes, and then it closes itself later on. So this is all algorithms that traded this, and this is the Asian session. So yeah, I would expect this during the European session to come back, close this gap at least, and then you've got a couple of other little gaps all the way down here. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see it come back down 42.40 area, 42.34 area. So I think that's going to be the moral of the story, to be honest. It's back into this range until we get some direction, and until the oscillators actually ease off on the hour, at least on the hour. It's not going to ease off in the higher time frame just yet, but the hour can definitely come off, and you can see just ease off just a little bit. Doesn't need to be a lot, just a little bit, and then you've got an opportunity to buy into this. And here's a good example of when the oscillators cross over far apart. You can see they crossed over far apart, and then it's typically a fairly violent move to the upside, and there it is, 183 points to the upside. Okay, so anyway, for me, really cautious with this market until Wednesday. think the pullbacks are to be bought. That's the structure that you have. The trend is up until we start dropping below these lows of last week. This trend is up. There's no reason to be looking for anything else, but I'm looking for value. So value that I can see, and I'm just going to come to the 15-minute for this because it is so tight. First area that would offer a little bit of value for me would be 42.46 area, but definitely a little bit further down on the 42.39 area, which would close some of those gaps. That would give me some fairly decent value at the moment. And you can see at the moment, moving average, oscillators crossed over. So this weekly gap will definitely close. The question is whether these other little gaps will close, because that will bring us all the way down to the bottom of the range. And you'll probably find that you've got gaps further down here as well. So do yourself a favor, go check it out. And if you do see those gaps, then you know that they will close sometime. It doesn't have to close today or tomorrow, but they will definitely close sometime. And I've seen quite a few gaps that have been left open on the lower time frames over the past couple of weeks. So yeah, hence why I'm also a little bit hesitant on jumping in and expecting this thing to go to the moon. I want a pullback. I need some structure, and we need to either build a base, break the base, and then start moving, or we need to pull back and come test some breakouts lower down and close a few gaps, and that'll give us the opportunity for a move to the upside. And it also, sentiment, if you look at the sentiment of a lot of traders out there, everybody's really nervous about jumping in and buying this where we are at the moment. So they're looking for value lower down. And that is also what happens when the market goes up and down like this, because people aren't really interested in getting in and staying in for a long time. They'll buy the pullbacks and get out at the first opportunity. Buy the pullback, get out their first opportunity, until we're back in a decent trend. Anyway, that's it for me sitting quietly on the sides. If I do see something, I will let you know in the Telegram channel. But until then, I will wait for this to do something that we can trade. Anyway, hope it helps, and we'll catch up later. Cheers for now.